Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel Pigskin Addicts. Back again with another video. So this video is well deserved. I couldn't wait to make it. And honestly, at this point right now, it's a little overdue. But this is a Michael Davis appreciation post. He has been a guy that has really stepped up when needed. He has played the best football of his career so far. You know, he's a guy, he's always had promise, him being an undrafted free agent out of BYU. You know, he fits the physical profile of a top NFL corner. You know, he has all of the tools in the toolbox. I think for him, it was just really being able to put it together. And, you know, him being called into action, full-time action when J.C. Jackson went down, I think, you know, he has really proved himself under fire. And this is honestly a post to appreciate him because he has been one of, if not the most consistent Charger all season long. And you have to give him a lot of credit. He has played really well. And I think the thing with him, he's really showed his value, even on the open market, right? He is under contract with the Chargers next year. So I do expect the Chargers to bring him back, barring, you know, any super financial setbacks that the organization may or may not have this coming offseason. So I do expect him back. I think the Chargers are going to have to try to move some money around to get him back. He's just too valuable to let go. So I do expect him back, but I think he knows that he has made himself a lot of money with the way that he has played this season. He's been called upon in a very pressurized situation. You know, his play, you know, pretty much can make or break the Chargers. It can pretty much make or break the defense, and it can pretty much make or break games. But he has stepped up to the plate. He's played fantastic football. And the biggest thing that Michael Davis has shown this season is he can mix it up. He is a cornerback that can do it all, right? He can play press man coverage. He's been really good in press man, but he has also adapted to Brandon Staley's scheme, right? He's adapted to the zone scheme, right? He has really, you know, come into his own, right? He knows what he's doing. He knows what he's looking at. And I think, you know, watching the tape every week, it looks like he has really honed his skills. He has been able to recognize routes, right? His route recognition is really through the roof this season. And that's something that I really hadn't seen from him, you know, at any other point in his career. He is recognizing routes now, so he's able to be aggressive. He's able to jump them. You know, he has a lot of pass breakups. He only has one interception this season, but, you know, his pass breakups, his coverage, and, you know, him being able to deter a quarterback from throwing to his side is much more important than him intercepting the ball. So, you know, with him, he has been very consistent doing both things, zone, man, right? And that's what you want in your corners. You want your corners to be able to do everything. He's played really well. Asante Samuel Jr. has played really well on the other side as well, too. But, you know, coming into the season, Michael Davis was buried on the depth chart. The Chargers obviously made the splash signing of J.C. Jackson in free agency, and Michael Davis, his future with the Chargers was pretty much in the balance, right? Nobody knew what his role was going to be for certain. You know, he started this season off playing special teams, right? He was a gunner on special teams up until the J.C. Jackson injury, and you know, I guess he was doing a little spot duty here and there, but he was not a full-time defensive player. Now that he is back to being a full-time defensive player, he's really showing that the Chargers are getting great value from the contract that he signed. He signed a 3-year extension. What was it? 2 years ago, right? 3 years. I think it was $25 million was the total. They're getting great value from him. He is making $8 million, and I think he's on the hook for like another $8 million next year. So if you're getting, you know, premium production out of your corner for $8 million, that is a bargain in today's NFL. And he is allowing the Chargers to really evaluate the cornerback position. You know, if J.C. Jackson is not going to be 100% healthy, you know, maybe the Chargers make a decision on him, you know, maybe this season, maybe next offseason. We don't know, right? But he's allowing some flexibility at the cornerback position. And, you know, ultimately, You want to get as many good players on as many, good, valuable, team-friendly deals as possible, and he's a guy that's on one right now. So he's given the Chargers a lot of valuable experience, a lot of valuable production, and he's somebody that you really can't discount. He stepped up when the team needed him the most. He didn't complain. He kept his head up. He kept working, and ultimately, everything that he did is paying off now. It's paying off for him personally, and it's paying off for the team. He's a guy that can be counted on, right? Week to week, he can be counted on, and we're going to need him in the playoffs. He is going to be, facing some of the best receivers in the playoffs, and I expect him to play well. His confidence is high right now. Again, this is the best football he's played in his career so far. He's had stretches here and there, but, he's finally put it together this season, and you have to give him credit. You have to give him a lot of credit because doing research for this video, there was a LA Times article that I found by Jeff Miller. It was written pretty much at the beginning of training camp last summer. It was written about early August, I believe it was. It was profiling Michael Davis, and it was profiling his inconsistent play from last season. And Michael Davis, he's a guy, he doesn't talk very much. He doesn't really have media availability like that. I've heard him do, little interviews here and there. He'll, say a few words and be done. But, I think he was as candid as, he can be in the summertime, and he talked about his struggles last season, and he was a guy that opened up and said that his struggles last season came off the field. He had a lot of off-field distractions, and he really didn't get into a whole lot of detail, but he did mention stuff with former girlfriends and stuff like that. So his personal life, right, his love life was distracting him last season, and for him to be open and honest about that, I do give him credit. I think that that's something that a lot of NFL players deal with, and that's something a lot of guys are not really going to talk about. They're not going to come out and be open and candid about it. I give him credit for that. I think he does have children, so I'm sure they were probably involved in some way. But that is, one of the ugly sides of the NFL. That's one of the dark sides of the NFL, right? You get all this money, you get all this notoriety. You have all these women, right, who pretty much want you, and if you have any bout of weakness, right, you're gonna end up falling for the wrong woman, and if you have kids with the wrong woman, you have the paternity stuff in play, and probate and child support and all of this type of stuff. So I don't know if that was the specific thing that he was dealing with, but he did allude that it was his personal life, his personal relationships that were kind of, getting in the way of what he was doing last season. So I'm glad that he cleared that up, and I'm glad that he was honest about that. I think that affects more players than but guys are pretty much guarded, with their personal lives, right? Rightfully so. I'm not saying that they have to come out and be candid about it like that, but I think him being candid, him deciding to be candid about that could help, a young NFL player, right? It can help an Asante Samuel Jr., right? It can help, a young guy coming into the league. It can help. Those type of conversations need to be had. And I'm sure they're had in the locker room and stuff like that. But those conversations should be had, right? There should be some public discourse about that, because guys need to know that, once you get to the NFL, once you, sign your second contract, once you make big money, right? More money, more problems. And, if you open yourself up to that, type of thing, you could have problems, and your problems could affect the way that you play on the field. And Michael Davis was very candid about that. So I'm glad that he, let everybody know what was afflicting him last season, right? And we can believe him because, even though his season wasn't all that great last year, he said he got everything in order now, and now he's playing well. So we can believe when he says that, he let his personal life creep into his professional life. We can believe him because now he's playing well and he doesn't have these same issues. So again, this is a video that is, a little bit overdue now. Michael Davis has been a superstar for the Chargers this season. And, he's a guy that I want back next season. Obviously, once, he gets to free agency, then, the Chargers are going to have to make a decision. If he continues playing the way that he's playing into next year, he will be making a lot more money than $8 million. So that will be a conversation that, the front office and, the executive staff has to have, whether or not they want to bring him back because his salary demands are going to increase as he continues to play well. But, I thought he was very, very candid, and I thought he had a very, very good reason, for not playing well last year, right? Even though it's brought up on by him, but it's something that a lot of guys deal with. He's a guy that is from LA. He obviously went undrafted. He was a pretty big, superstar in school, right? In high school, a pretty big track star. He placed, I think, third in state in the 200 meters. So, he's a guy that his name was known, around town and stuff. So he has some buzz to his name, and, him still staying at home, playing at home, obviously that comes with a lot of problems that, a lot of us common people don't really understand. But I'm glad that he really got into it, and I'm honestly happy that he's growing up, right? He's growing up right before our eyes, and he's turning into an accountable NFL star. And this is something that should be celebrated, right? There's a lot of people who always want to get on here and talk negative about players, every time they make mistakes and all of this stuff. But when a player can stand at a podium, say, yeah, my personal life got the best of me and I didn't make the best decisions and it affected my play, comes out, rectifies it, and then comes out, playing like a superstar, that has to be celebrated. It has to. These guys, they live lives that we can never imagine. And, being a 25, 26-year-old, there's no telling what you can do. I made a bunch of mistakes when I was that age. None of them were public, though, because I'm not famous. And, I can just imagine, the pressure, anytime you make a bad decision or anytime you have a mistake that's made, the pressure that you have, on you to rectify that and to not let that seep into your professional life. The pressure is great, but it's something that we will never understand, right? We're common people, but I'm glad that he addressed it like a man, and I'm glad that he is playing his best football of his career. So this is an appreciation post for Vato. He has been very, very good for the Chargers. Again, I want him back next season. His free agency is going to be another story, but he has been very, very good. Obviously a great find, as an undrafted free agent, but he's a guy that should continue playing this way into the playoffs, and we'll see as he continues to grow. But that's all I got for this video, guys. Thank you guys so much for all the support. Really, really appreciate it. Shout out to all my new subscribers. Really appreciate you guys. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing, and don't forget to smash that like button on the way out as well too. I'll be back again tomorrow with more content, and until next time.